Good afternoon from the Universal Orlando parking garage. We're headed in today because the rumors were true. They opened 2 Halloween Horror Nights houses for daytime guests. Today is an annual pass holder preview, so because I have a premier annual pass to Universal Studios, I was able to sign up ahead of time for a spot to walk through and experience the 2 houses. So we're here to do that today. I don't think I can film in the houses. As a matter of fact, I know I can't film in the houses. So you're not gonna be able to see inside of the houses, but you'll be able to hear my reaction to the houses. Also, there's some new food. There's new food trucks out in front of the houses, so we're gonna try some new food today. There's a couple of new things around some of the merchandise locations. It's gonna be a good day all around. Very spooky stuff, but not too spooky because there's no scare zones outside. So I don't think there needs to be a warning in front of this video. It'll be a good time for all. Let's go inside. So the very first reservation spots, because that's what I had to do, I registered for a specific time to come and go through the houses. My time's at 1:15. The very first time is at 1 o'clock. So there's a very long line at security trying to get through. But we've made it through security. We're headed in now. It's about 1 o'clock right now. So I got 15 minutes to get into the park and get back to where the houses are. Should be plenty of time. Now that we've made it through security, the crowd in here is not very big at all. Seems like a nice calm day at Universal. We'll see what happens once we get inside though, because I have a feeling a lot of people are gonna be here hoping to go through the houses. Or a lot of people are gonna be here with reservations to get through the houses. It's so strange walking up to Universal Studios for Halloween Horror Nights, 1 in the middle of the day, and 2 with no decorations out front and normal daytime music. So it's like a Halloween Horror Nights light. Ooh, this is a bizarre sight right here. So Minion Mayhem, 35 minutes. Not a lot of people walking right here, but there's a lot of people kind of crowded around the entrances to the houses. You can kind of see like a mass of people up there. Okay, so I was kind of scared that the line was gonna be so long, but right now it's just people waiting to check in to go into the actual line. So there's kind of a long line this way, but the actual line to get in the house is not bad. So we're gonna go into Universal Monsters, The Bride of Frankenstein Lives first. And then the other one is called The Tooth Fairy. So this is what we're gonna start with. So here it is, this is where we're going to. Universal Monsters, The Bride of Frankenstein. As we're walking through the line, we got social distancing markings all over the place. Little blue dots on the grass, because they couldn't put the sticker on the grass, so they just painted some blue dots. And then the stickers on the sidewalk. And also there's a space between the switchbacks too. Here we go, we are headed backstage right now because the house is inside of one of these sound stages. Ooh, this is exciting. It feels like Horror Nights. We're back underneath Rip Ride Rockit. Is it gonna, oh, this is empty. So they've handed each group a glow stick, and you hold it, the first person in the group holds it out in front of them so they know how to differentiate between groups. It's an interesting little thing that they're doing. Okay, we did it. We went through a haunted house, middle of a pandemic, felt totally safe, plenty of physical distancing, plexiglass, all the characters either 6 feet away or wearing masks. It was fantastic. Also, the way that they had it is they were stopping your group in between scenes. So it was like watching a show. It was great. We're heading into the next house now. Also, I don't know if you guys can see behind me, there is a food truck here. We're gonna be back to try some more food too, because the food here looks amazing. But we're heading to the next house now. So normally during Halloween Horror Nights, you kind of have to go through the house a few times to get a feel for the story. Now, you can, the story is obvious. You know what's happening. There was rubble. The castle collapsed. A beam fell on Frankenstein, killing him, or Frankenstein's monster, and the Bride of Frankenstein wants to bring him back. She enlists the help of a mad scientist to try to bring him back, and they are draining the essence. They think that blood is what brings him back. So they're draining the essence from people trying to bring Frankenstein back, Frankenstein's monster back, and then they finally do it. It was fantastic. Really, really good house. Here is the next house that we're headed to, Revenge of the Tooth Fairy. Oh yeah, I like this too. It looks scary. Kids in bed, scared of the Tooth Fairy? Fantastic. So actually I had a part of this story wrong. The people whose blood were being drained were the brides of Dracula. So that's what's gonna bring Frankenstein back, is the Brides of Dracula's blood. So this line was a little bit longer than the last one. We were in line for the first one for about 10 minutes, and we've been in line for 20 minutes for this one. So I think what happened was everybody went through the first one and then got in line for the next one. And that's it. After this one, those are the 2 houses. We'll be all done with Halloween Horror Nights for today. Excellent, excellent house. It was an original, and it was very easy to follow the story, and I like that a lot about being able to go through the houses slower. Also, if you're scared of the Halloween Horror Night houses, definitely seems like it would be scarier this year because you have to go through slower, and they're pulsing the groups. Side note, there was a cash change ahead of us, so we were in line for about 45 minutes. Actually waiting for the cash change was about 20 minutes of that, so a little bit slower, and that might just be the first day type stuff or the annual pass holder preview type stuff, but really great. So the storyline of this one was a kid refused to give the Tooth Fairy his teeth, and the Tooth Fairy exacts revengeance on his entire family and everybody in the house. So it's like a Victorian era story where the kid's like, I'm not giving up my teeth to the Tooth Fairy, and then the Tooth Fairy comes in and rips out the teeth of everybody, his parents, the servants, the butler, everybody, and then finally turns him into a Tooth Fairy minion by the end of it. It was great. The scares are a little bit more telegraphed in these houses because of the plexiglass, but I don't know, I really enjoyed it, and I felt safe in there. There's a lot of plexiglass that the characters are behind, and everybody's distant. Felt really good. It felt safe and it felt fantastic. You will have to wait longer for these houses though, so I don't know. I say if they continue this, or if you were coming here during the weekend, which these houses will both be open Saturday and Sunday of this weekend, I highly suggest going through the houses. Super fun, but be prepared to wait. Hey guys, Future Tim here. So after watching back the video that I took yesterday, I realized that in my excitement after going through Halloween Horror Nights houses, I kind of left out a few details about the Halloween Horror Nights houses that I wanted to share with you now. So the first thing is, the houses are definitely different during a pandemic. So Universal has implemented different safety things, such as social distancing in the lines and physical distancing throughout the houses. So you go through as either yourself, if you're alone, like traveling as a single person to the parks, or with your group. So they separate groups out by at least 6 feet. Basically what we call this is pulsing. So somebody at the front of the house that stops your group and waits until the group ahead of you is at least 6 feet into the house or into the next scene, and then they send your group through. So in the bride's house, they actually gave us a glow stick so that the ops of the house, the operations people of the house, knew where each group began. In the Tooth Fairy house, they didn't give us a glow stick, and we talked to one of the TMs there. He said that they were giving out glow sticks in the morning and then they stopped, and he wasn't sure why that happened. I think that the whole thing that we should take from this is that this whole weekend is just a test. So if it goes well, they will maybe continue it next, like further weekends in the year. But so that's one of the things that they were testing was glow sticks. Another thing that's very noticeable in the houses is that there's plexiglass all over the place. So you know where scares are going to be. So if you're walking through a scene and you just see this like huge sheet of plexiglass, more than likely there's going to be a scare actor behind that piece of plexiglass popping out and maybe hitting the plexiglass, but they don't come out into your area, like your walkway. They stay behind the plexiglass. The only exception to that is if they are able to be really far away from you. Like there was one scene where one of the scare actors was 20 feet away from us easily, and I'll explain that in a little bit. Another thing is the masks on the scare actors are different. In previous years, they would have maybe latex prosthetics or just makeup to provide this scary appearance. This year, it's full masks, like latex masks, and then they're wearing a face covering underneath those masks. So the masks are a little bit bigger in order to accommodate for a face covering underneath. So it's a little bit different look this year than it has been in past. Oh, and they also give you a pump of hand sanitizer before you go through each house. So each guest that comes into the house gets a pump of hand sanitizer and they wash their hands real quick before heading into the house. And I think that's all of the changes that they've made this year for COVID-19. And it feels really safe, which is fantastic. So now let's move on to the houses and some of the things that I liked about the houses. So in the bride's house, when you first walk in, there's a wall that's kind of like, it looks like a rock wall, and then it's got 3 holes in it, and you kind of look through those 3 holes, and you can see a projection playing of like a crumbling castle. And that kind of puts into your mind like, okay, here's what's happening. We're going into Frankenstein's castle and it's falling down. Something happened to cause the castle to fall down. And then it opens up into this gigantic facade, and you look up and you see this was the scare that was this character that was 20 feet away from us. There's the Bride of Frankenstein trying to lift a huge beam off of Frankenstein's monster. And so that puts into action the storyline of the house, and that is the Bride of Frankenstein trying to resurrect Frankenstein's monster after this beam has fallen on him. And then throughout the story we learn that she does this by gathering blood from Dracula's wives or Dracula's brides and using that to try to resurrect Frankenstein's monster. And that was my favorite scene of the entire house, was when she actually finally resurrects Frankenstein's monster. And it was really neat because the way that they were pulsing us, I feel like their pulsing was a little bit off, but it made it better for me. So we were being held in scenes for the group ahead of us to move through, to move further away from us. And so that made it so that we could see the entire scene play out, whereas in years past, you're just constantly walking, and you might miss a scene here, but get the next scene. When I went through the bride's house, I saw every scene in its entirety. And my favorite scene was when they actually resurrected Frankenstein's monster. And it was really neat because I didn't think, as I'm watching it play out, I didn't think that the Frankenstein's monster was an actual scare actor. I thought it was just like a mannequin that was there, because you'll see mannequins throughout the houses a lot. But then there was this bright flash and a loud noise, and that was the Bride of Frankenstein turning on the machines to finally resurrect Frankenstein's monster. And then he came to life, and normally that would have been a scare that he would have come to life and like jumped out, but there was a huge sheet of plexiglass in front of this entire scene, and so he just kind of like came out and hit the plexiglass. And so I think that like this year, a little bit less scary, but I think they're doing as good as they can in a pandemic. Still very, very enjoyable. And then on to the Tooth Fairy house. This one was a little bit different. So when you walk in, you're walking down like this dark hallway, and there's sheets, like pages from a book hanging above you, and you're starting to get the storyline by reading these different pages. And then the very end of the hall is the cover of the book, like a gigantic book, and you hear the storyline begin through some audio dialogue where you hear the little boy saying like, no, I don't want to give up my teeth to the Tooth Fairy. And then you turn the corner and you see an entire page from the book, like an illustrated page that's kind of exploded out a little bit. And so you've got the mother standing there, but these are all just like flat drawings, not actual people or actors or anything like that. They're just like flat figures. You see the mother, you see a bed, you see the kid on the bed, and then the Tooth Fairy pops up from behind the bed, and the kid starts to run away, like move down the bed, but he's not, it's just like a forward motion. He's not like running because it's a flat drawing. It was like really neat looking. And then you get into the house and the Tooth Fairies are starting to attack the kid's family. And by the end of the story, the kid turns into a Tooth Fairy too. But the thing that was interesting about this is that because the storyline's kind of centered around beds, because you're supposed to put your teeth underneath your pillow at night, there were a lot of beds in the house. And there were 2 scenes in particular that I thought were interesting in this new environment. One, there was a bed on my left and a bed on my right, and there was Tooth Fairies at the heads of the beds, kind of like jumping on the pillows, but they were in these huge plexiglass tubes, like hitting the edges of the tubes or hitting the outside of the tubes trying to scare people. But it was weird, like kind of strange looking, because they were inside tubes. It almost looked like some sort of like science experiment in there, that they're inside of these tubes. And in another one, there was a giant 4-post bed with a scare actor inside on top of a mannequin, like kind of attacking the mannequin. But all 3 sides, like one side was up against a wall, and then the other 3 sides had plexiglass around them. So it was almost like looking in on like a TV show or some sort of like art display where the person was inside like attacking a mannequin. It was very interesting and strange at the same time, but it was still very enjoyable. And then also in the Tooth Fairy house, it was very noticeable where these boo holes were. And so a boo hole in normal Halloween Horror Nights terms is a hole in the wall where a scare actor could jump out and scare you. That would be a boo hole. So it was very easy to tell which holes in the wall were boo holes because those holes had plexiglass on them. There was a little bit of misdirection going on where they had some things covered with plexiglass that weren't scares to kind of like get you thinking like, oh no, is there a scare coming from there? And then there'd be a scare from this direction, which is something that they've done before with boo holes, where they put a boo hole to your right and then the scare actor jumps out from the left because people are so like, oh, okay, I got it. I see it. There's a hole there. That's where this character is going to come out of. And then they don't. They come out of from the other side. And I just remembered another scare that I really liked in the bride's house. I know that we already finished talking about the bride's house, but I just remembered it. There was one scene where we were stopped in a hallway and there was all of these coffins with the brides of Dracula like drained of their blood inside of them. And they just kind of looked like, you know, mannequins. And we were just stopped there for a while. And then once we started moving again, the very last like one turned out to be a scare actor. And he jumped out and was like, rah, up against the plexiglass that was covering the coffin. And of course, all of the coffins had plexiglass on them to try to distract you. It was just fantastic. That one, I was like, oh, I didn't expect there to actually, I thought that was a mannequin. So all in all, they did a fantastic job of providing Halloween Horror Nights houses this year during COVID-19. So back to you, Past Tim. Hope you're having fun at Universal. All right, now it's time to go to one of the food trucks. So this one is out in front of the Tooth Fairy house. We've got Twisted Taters with blood and guts. So the blood and guts is chili and cheese, and then we've got Twisted Frankencoils, which is a hot dog inside of a Twisted Tater, and then the Frankencoils with blood and guts. So a Twisted Tater with chili and cheese on top, and a hot dog. Here's an example of that right here. They have one out front for us to look at. Here's what I got. I got a Twisted Tater on a hot dog with chili cheese. This looks really good, and I'm excited to try it. I got a lot of napkins though, because it looks like it's gonna be a mess. Like I said, I've got a lot of napkins. This is gonna be ridiculous. They just made this one. It was intensely hot, but it's really good. It is hard to do once you get a little bit further down. Like mine, the stick was already out of the top, and so it was hard to get the hot dog to move forward on the stick. So I think maybe I need to eat from the side. Let me get my napkins out though, because I need to be prepared for a mess. I was able to use the tray to move it forward on the stick a little bit. I mean, it tastes great. I feel like it's a little bit higher quality chili and cheese. Not like the normal stuff that you would get on chili cheese dog. Hot dog is very juicy and hot because they fry it. And then you got the tater on top, which is nice and crispy. And there's a little bit of like flavoring salt on it too. I don't know. I would eat this all the time because this is fantastic. I'm like blown away already by how good that food was. We still got another food truck to try. This is exciting. It's like Halloween Christmas. Christmas-ween. Here's the menu at the other food truck, and this is near the exit of the bride's house. We get Franken fried chicken and funnel brains, which is fried chicken and funnel cake. Electro fried skins and guts, which is basically pork rind nachos. And I'm gonna get both of those because, yeah, sounds good. Here is the chicken and funnel cakes, which admittedly is a lot smaller than I thought it was gonna be. Like when I imagine a funnel cake, I'm thinking something the size of this plate. But I like this better because that way you can eat it all and you don't feel like you're eating a ton of oil, like frying oil. It's one chicken tender on top of a funnel cake with powdered sugar and two different kinds of drizzles. One is strawberry and the other one, I am not sure what it is. So here are the electro fried skins. These are pork rinds with like chili cheese on top. And this is either, the white stuff is either sour cream or like a white cheese. I'm interested to find out. I'm gonna taste it. And I got some capers down here too. That's interesting. All right, let's give it a try. All right, let's try these electro fried skins. That's a delicious flavor. Got a little bit chewy, but that flavor is where it's at. I'm still not sure if the white stuff is cheese or... Oh yeah, it's cheese. Nice. Like a nice white cheese. Pork rinds are a little chewy though. All right, up next, the chicken and funnel cake. I keep wanting to call it chicken and waffles. It's like savory and sweet. This ought to be interesting. I don't know how I'm gonna do this because I kind of have to like set it down to cut it. Well, I'll be out of frame for a second cutting. All right, so here's a look at it right now. It's fried chicken and funnel cake with some strawberry and I believe some sort of vanilla syrup on there. Okay. Tastes like a weird strawberry chicken donut. Kind of like it. Kind of like it a lot. That's weird. I've never had strawberry and chicken together, but they strangely go together. Yeah, and then the vanilla syrup in there too. This is like the strangest good flavor I've ever had in my mouth. I really like the way that this tastes, but it's so strange. Oh, and there's just powdered sugar on it too. Funnel cake's a little bit overdone, but not terrible. Funnel cake by itself, the chicken really adds to it. Like, you have to eat the chicken and the funnel cake together to make this work out. Huh. This is bizarrely good. How about that? Who knew that strawberry and chicken went together? Not me, that's for sure. Who knew that chicken was a dessert? So now I've had the food from the food trucks. Fantastic. If Horror Nights was running, I would get that food every night of Horror Nights that I came. So delicious. That darn funnel cake was amazing. I'm like, it blows my mind how good it was. Now we're heading into some gift shops to see there's like a scarecrow hunt. So if you guys remember back to Christmas, they had Christmas trees throughout all of the gift shops. They had little maps and you'd get a stamp for every Christmas tree that you found. So now they're doing that same idea with Halloween, with scarecrows. So we're heading into the gift shops to see some scarecrows and we're gonna get a map and I'll show you guys what the scarecrow hunt is all about. And then at the end of it, if you get all the stamps, I think you get a little trick-or-treat bag. So here it is. It's called the Scarecrow Stalk. And what you do is you get one of these maps here and you go through all of these different locations and you get a stamp at each location. And then when you're done, you get a little prize. And there's a map saying where each one is. And each scarecrow is themed to the area that it's in. So right now we're in the mummy gift shop. And you can see this one looks like a mummy. He's got scarab beetles. He's got a mummy pumpkin. He's got a cup of coffee that says ghostly swoosh. He also has 2 heads. And an extra jaw. Spooky. So next place we're going into is Shannon's Irish Rose. Oh wait, no, that's the perfume of soap. What's this called? Ooh. This is called Rosie's Irish Shop. Ooh, there he is. He's the leprechaun. Also, there's a little tooth fairy. Creepy, creepy tooth fairy. Yeah, this is awesome. I like this a lot. And we can get our next stamp here. All right, it looks like Optimus Prime is helping us out. He's saying, go into the film vault. There is another scarecrow in there. Let's go have a look. Ooh, look at him. He's awesome. Wow. Also, another mummy. Very frightening looking mummy at that. He's got skulls galore. So we just talked to a team member inside of the film vault and they said, when you're going to redeem your after you've completed the map, there's 2 locations, San Francisco Candy Factory and Studio Sweets. So San Francisco Candy I showed you in the last video. Studio Sweets is up at the front of the park and you get a pre-packaged bulk candy. Like, you don't get to pick what it is, but they said after you complete the map though, you get 30% off of bulk candy. So you could get even more bulk candy after you complete the map. Our next scarecrow is inside the supply vault at the exit of the Transformers ride. Ooh, he's awesome. He's like a robot scarecrow. Wow. That's awesome. Holy cow. He is so cool looking. So every scarecrow that you stop at, you get a stamp. And once you've collected all 13, then you can get your trick-or-treat bag. But here in the Transformers gift shop, they made me answer a trivia question about Transformers. They said, who is the leader of the Decepticons? And I had to say, Megatron. Looks like we've got some Halloween decorations outside of La Bamba. And this is something called the Skeleton Bar. Interesting. All right, we're headed into Cafe La Bamba. See what this is all about. Hello!
How are you?
Good. Ooh. Theming. I love it.
Love it here. So I will have you hand sanitize for me, please.
Okay.
How you doing, Tim?
Fantastic.
Good, nice to have you. Welcome to our Halloween experience.
Yeah, hello.
Hey,
Good.
We have some food and beverage options right over here on your right-hand side.
Okay.
Come check out the displays. Got the full menu right up top. Thank you so much. We have a walk-through attraction right over here on the left-hand side. And in the walkthrough attraction, we have a skeleton bar
Okay.
to die for.
I love it.
Thank you guys. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, is this the same thing?
pleasure.
Yeah, same thing. Oh, we've got some different display items. These are the s'mores fries. Looks like we got the tandoori chicken. And this is the pasta salad. Was there a pasta salad?
Pretty good the first time, huh?
Oh, vegan jacked up mac. Interesting. And do they have the shrimp cocktail out here too? Wow. It smells so good in here. All right, I got some s'mores fries. There's sweet potato fries with graham crackers and marshmallow and chocolate. They actually look really good. And now we're gonna do a walkthrough experience. And there's a bar at the end. Ooh. Okay, and then they have what's called the skeleton bar over here, where you can get alcoholic beverages. They have something called a circus peanut, mango inferno, and a loop guru. A little bit closer look at the different drinks.
Crazy.
Sounds kind of good. Ooh, so last year at Halloween Horror Nights in the tribute store, they had a voodoo guy on display. I think this might be him again. This is fantastic. I love this. I like a good themed bar and with a walkthrough experience too. Wow. This is great. It's such like a little tiny, like there's no scare actors, there's nothing really scary going on, but it's just kind of like a little walkthrough experience here. Huh. Other than that's it. So I came over to my go-to spot to eat food here at Universal to eat my s'mores, and then I remembered that inside of SpongeBob StorePants they have another scarecrow. I'm hoping this one's themed to SpongeBob. This is great. He's like, "Are you ready, kids?" "Aye, aye, Captain." Nice and frightening for the kids, eh? Huh. So just a few notes. The only time that I am aware of that the Halloween Horror Nights houses are open is this weekend. That's all that they have planned so far. That might change. You never know. When we went into the skeleton bar, they said we're open on the weekends. Wow, it just got bright, didn't it? But when we went into the skeleton bar, they said that they're open on weekends. So maybe that means that they're going to be open later than this weekend. And if the skeleton bar is open, I would assume that maybe the houses will be open as well on weekends. But as of right now, nothing is confirmed for being open past this weekend. So stay tuned. Also, over at Islands of Adventure, they do trick-or-treating. We might stop by there really quick and just see how they're doing it, and then we'll head home. But I'm gonna try these s'mores fries first. Now, full disclosure, I did not like the flavor of the s'mores fries in years past. These look a little bit different. I feel like they didn't have as many graham crackers, and last year it was just melted chocolate chips. This year it looks like it's like melted chocolate chips and like syrup, chocolate syrup. Oh, okay. A little salty sweet. That's pretty good. It's a very interesting flavor. I still feel like the sweet potato fries do not really go with the flavor. Like, I understand why you picked sweet potato fries to have this, but I feel like the sweet potato fries, like the actual sweet potato part of it, doesn't particularly go with the chocolate. But once you get a marshmallow in there, everything goes together really well. So you need to get marshmallow, chocolate, sweet potato, all in one bite. Very good, salty sweet combination. But just the sweet potatoes by themselves with chocolate, a little bit iffy. All right, our next scarecrow is inside of the MIB gear shop. See what he looks like. Well, that's a weird choice for a scarecrow. I think it looks just like Batman. Huh. Oh, this is for sale. We can buy this. Gotcha. I guess this isn't actually the scarecrow. Ooh, it's like an alien in a spacesuit, but it looks like it's broken. This is way cool. Wow. Oh, and look, the little plants have eyeballs in them. Holy cow, and his guts are spilling out. Oh. Whoa. It's like he had wings or something. This is intense. Wow. This is way cool. I like this one a lot. Look at this. It's open. And on the day that I've been eating all sorts of stuff. So I'm extremely full right now. So I'm not gonna get a jacket potato. Stopping in the custom gear shop because there's another Scarecrow in here. Even though the Fast and Furious ride is not open, the gift shop is still open. Here he is, over here at Fast and Furious. We've got a cool looking leather guy, Scarecrow. Look how he's got little like black beads inside of his eyes too. And he's got this skull here, it's like a vampire skull. Neat. All right, I got about 7 stamps. I think I'm gonna call it a day though, and we'll come back a different day to finish out all of our stamps and look at more Scarecrows. All right, maybe one more stop because he's right here in the front of the San Francisco Candy Factory store. Looks kind of like a pirate skeleton. Ooh, spooky. Got real long fingernails. And then this is where you would pick up your prize when you're done, and these are the different prizes that you can get. They like sour gummy bears, some fruit slices, little O-rings, candy corn, or sour worms. Those are your choices of the prize you can get once you complete your Scarecrow hunt. Just caught a glimpse of the line for Tooth Fairy as we're walking past, and it extends all the way out past Jimmy Fallon. So there you have it. That was our trip to Universal Studios to experience a lighter version of Halloween Horror Nights. Middle of the day, only 2 houses. It was fantastic. It felt good. It felt safe. I loved seeing the haunted houses, going through a Halloween Horror Nights house. The first step that I took into that house, like goosebumps, felt fantastic. The food was amazing. That little skeleton bar, really neat on the inside. Just an all-around fantastic experience, and I can't wait. I want to come back next weekend if it happens and go through the houses again and experience more food. I have to finish out my Scarecrow stalk. Fantastic. I loved coming out here today. It was such a great day. So with that being said, we are off. We'll see you guys tomorrow, and now it's time to help. So today's organization that we would like to shine a spotlight on is Scares That Care. Scares That Care is a 100% volunteer-based organization that is focused on fighting the real monsters of childhood illness, children affected by burn injuries, and families affected by breast cancer, by helping families who are experiencing these extraordinary hardships cope with the financial burden by raising and providing $10,000 per recipient family. So if you're interested in finding out more about Scares That Care, please have a look in the link in the description down below, and thank you guys for watching this video.